After a wave of negative headlines, now a day where Elon Musk is enjoying positive news. Of course, he and his company SpaceX was able to bring back 2 stranded astronauts from the International Space Station. And the fallout continues after the call between US President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, after a call that was ending disappointing, especially for Trump and the Ukraine. Welcome to Bauernebel News. It was a different day for Elon Musk. He generated positive headlines. He hasn't seen that for a while. Of course, the topic was the successful rescue mission of 2 stranded NASA astronauts, Unita Williams and Butch Wilmore, from the International Space Station. They were stranded there for 9 months after their Boeing capsule malfunctioned. Now the rescue mission by SpaceX, and it went flawlessly. The capsule splashed down in the Gulf of America on Tuesday. There was a very moving moment as a pod of dolphins was swimming around the floating capsule as if they wanted to greet the Earthlings back on the planet. Now, of course, the 2 of them are in a medical facility, reunited with their families, and Elon Musk posted briefly, "You're welcome." He is indicating that it was his company and his doing that ended this space odyssey. Of course, his boss, Donald Trump, congratulated as well. He called Elon Musk a great patriot. On the other fronts, of course, the critique is ongoing and also some problems within his business empire. Of course, Elon Musk was tasked by Donald Trump to slash the US government. The way he was handling this has created a firestorm. Some of his firing seemed random and not thought through. That all was criticized, and Elon Musk became a person that was hated by many here in the US, and they took their anger against his car company Tesla, that's ranged from boycotts of shoppers, very strong in Europe with a minus 75% revenue sales figures of Tesla cars, and they went even violent here in the United States as Teslas are being set ablaze and some other Tesla facilities vandalized. That has created a negative impact for the car company. The stock is falling. Of course, also Elon Musk's wealth is falling, which is tagged to the Tesla price. The company has lost nearly half of its market cap in the last few months, and there is discussions within Tesla that it is simply too much for Elon Musk to handle all these companies. Of course, he also runs Tesla, SpaceX, he runs Doge for the US government, and the social media platform Twitter, and of course on the side he has 16 kids. So a lot of people are wondering if this is all too much for one person. There was one early investor into Tesla who already demanded that the CEO should step down as a CEO. The fallout continues after a phone call between Donald Trump, the American president, and Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. 2 hours the 2 men spoke. Of course, main topic was Ukraine, and it ended somehow in a disappointment, especially for Donald Trump, because he wanted to convince Vladimir Putin to also come on board for a 30-day ceasefire. The Ukrainians already agreed to it, but Vladimir Putin was only willing to go as far as a partial ceasefire and has promised that attacks against infrastructure targets and energy targets will be stopped. Then, of course, immediately after the call, the first disagreement, the American side quoted both of these areas for a temporary ceasefire. The Kremlin but said that it was only energy targets that were excluded from the war. And of course, in the hours after the conversation, there were attacks against such targets, especially infrastructure, including a school. For Donald Trump, it is a setback, and also the way that Putin obviously treated him. He let him wait, so sources, for 30 minutes for the phone call, and then obviously was able to convince Donald Trump to let him off the hook a little bit. That all, of course, is being criticized, especially in Europe and in the Ukraine. Many observers are stating that Donald Trump seems to be more in the corner of Vladimir Putin, as he does not exercise enough, so the opinion, of course, pressure against Russia to come aboard and end this war. Of course, that same pressure and more pressure was asserted against Ukraine and its president Volodymyr Zelensky, famously in the Oval Office, as he was admonished by Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. And then, of course, there was a stop in military aid temporarily, and also the supply of intelligence information. All those were meant to bring the Ukrainians on board, which they did in negotiations in Saudi Arabia. But now it seems that Donald Trump does not want to exercise the same pressure on Russia. So the war goes on, and it is a setback for Donald Trump because he has promised to end this war as quickly as possible during the campaign and after. And now it is unclear how the next negotiations will proceed. The highlight of today, Wednesday, is, of course, a scheduled phone call between Trump and Zelensky. And here, of course, the world waits for more news.